I'm Dew. If you don't know me, I'm one of the ed techs at Jackson County ISD, and we have 13 different public school districts and a few other charters and whatnot. But I serve about like 6 or 7 of them, so you might see me around sometime in the fall. Definitely virtual, because who knows what's going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to show you our website, and we actually use Google Sites to build it. So I'm going to show you right now just the potential of Google Sites to be something that can be very complicated. But all this actually isn't all that complicated. It just looks really good. It's easy to do. So I'm able to make a really good looking site by just using Google's free in-home site builder. And I'm able to build all this amazing stuff. So I'm going to show you how to get there the easiest way. And there are a couple different ways to get there, but I'm going to show you the one I recommend first because it's a little more organized. So we're going to start by, most of you will start from google.com. And you can, and I recommend you get to your drive first. And I'm going to get to my drive by going to this little waffle iron and clicking on Drive. And I'm just in my Google Drive right now. And to keep organized, to keep all my site information organized, I like to put it in a specific folder. So I'm going to go to New Folder, and I'm just going to put my website folder. I'm going to just name it that. And then there it is, Google created for me. I'm going to double click on that website folder, and I want to keep anything to do with my website in this folder. And again, it's just a way to keep you organized, a way to keep all your information in one place. And then you can easily find the websites that you make for your students and whatnot, if that's what you decide to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to start creating your own Google site. And it's very easy. All you have to do is click that New button and then go to More. And one of the options that you have is Google Sites. It's about the 3rd or 4th option down. And once you click on New, again, you have to go to More, and then it's the 4th option down. Depending on what you have app-wise, Google Sites is there for you. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to create a new blank site for me. And compared to your, if your internet is great, it'll take a little bit. If not, it'll just take a second. But this is kind of what Google Sites will make for you as your first blank site. I always, with everything, like to give it a name. And to do that, you go to the upper left-hand corner, and you just give it a name. So I'm going to give it a name, Mr. Bowie's website. All right, so when I clicked on another spot after I named it, it'll also name it right here. Keep in mind, people will see this, so it's important to give your site a name so that you can either see it, then it'll indicate where they are. But usually for a teacher, I just put my name and the website. All right, so Google Sites here, a very blank canvas. It gives you the option to do a lot of different things here. I'll start kind of from the most simple things and then expand to other things that you can do. We do have a short amount of time, but again, if we don't cover everything in this 1 hour time span, you can always contact me, and then we can have a next steps with Google Sites kind of training where we make it look a little bit more like what you want it to look like. Again, you have the biggest portion, the only color that you'll get when you start a Google site is this kind of banner area. And on a banner area, you can see in most websites, it's just the first thing that people see. And the banner, oftentimes it's good to take advantage of it because it grabs them, it hooks them into whatever you want them to be hooked into. So if this is a teacher website, I might give it a bigger name or something like that. Or I might do a welcome message. It's up to what you want to do. I'm just going to put Mr. Bowie's website again, just so if I'm thinking of my younger students, they can see it a little more clearly than a small little title in the upper left-hand corner. From here, I can choose what type of header it is, and this is kind of, again, goes to your preference and your taste. But think of it from the point of view of hooking whoever's coming in. If it's your students or parents, you want something to grab them, to kind of entice them to view the rest of the website. I can click on change image if I want and completely choose a new background image for this. I kind of did that in this one, where I created this banner up top and then this banner on bottom. It's just a design choice that our team wanted to do. But for you, you can choose any type of image in the back. You kind of have to play around with it a little bit because it might look a little different. So I'll show you kind of what Google Sites will do once you upload an image. So I'll click on upload. And I will choose an image that I have right in my right on my computer. And this one is actually a design we chose for our virtual series. You can kind of see that Google doesn't give you very wonderful options as far as sizing the banner or anything like that. You do get a little option to like make it more clear or not, but you don't get a lot. So I honestly don't upload my own images very often this way. If you're just starting off, it's a little bit more wise to select an image. So Google has a bunch of images by gallery that you can select, and it makes it a little bit better. It matches the banner style a little bit more. This one looks a little artsy, and maybe that's what I'll choose. And I'll select it. Yep, and it looks a lot better than the banner I chose because it sized it correctly. And then, again, it's just a nice little first hook to allow your students to see a nice visual to hook them in. And you go to change image and upload or select. I recommend for your first time to select until you get the chance to play around with the banners. And of course, another option you have for the banners is the header type. Once you click on the header type, you have the option to just make it really huge, which might look good or decent on a phone, but it won't look good or decent on a computer. You have the option of a large banner. It just expands it a little bit if you want. You have the option of a regular banner, and you have the option of maybe you don't really even like the banner and you think it's distracting. You can go title only, and it'll just make a title. So Google has it will walk you through very easily and kind of limit you to what options you can use, which is good if you're just getting started because it focuses you a little bit more. Any questions on the header section right now with the banner? Okay, pretty simple, pretty easy, and quick to do. Now, once you get your banner all set, your website named, and just remember you can always go back and change that. But I like to get that out of the way, so it gives me a little piece of a little check off my checklist of things to do for my website, like a little reward. I get to see my site starting to build. So I like to do that first. What's great in Google Sites is there are multiple different ways to do things. So if you don't like one way of doing it, they give you another way that could potentially be easier. The blank white spot is my canvas for this website, and I can start building whatever I want on it. There are two different ways to do this, and I'm going to show you the first way by just double-clicking my mouse. It's left-clicking. If I left-click my mouse 2 times, I get this little creation wheel. And on this wheel, you have 5 options. Again, all you have to do is double-click the area you want to put things in, and this wheel appears. So say I actually want to put it in this area. I double-clicked in this area, and I have 5 options. The option in the middle, the 2 T's, it's the text option. So I'm going to click on that option right now. And then simply a text box comes up, and I can start typing. Hello, students. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I've got there my message for my students, a wonderful welcome message that they will treasure for all time. And of course, just to make it look a little bit better, I'm going to copy that a few different times so you got to get the sense of the text and how it works a little bit and what it looks like. But you can see very easy to type in and very easy to modify. you probably noticed some of the text options up here. They're very limited, so you can't do too much as far as text. So if you're just starting off, it's very easy because it doesn't allow you to do too much. I honestly think this is a little small as a welcome message. So some of the text option I have at the top, where it says normal text, actually gives you a size. And it doesn't actually give you specific point sizes. You have a title size, a heading size, a subheading, and really small. Right now, it's in the really small area. And if I'm thinking of my students and people who have bad eyes, then it might not be very, very good. So I'm going to try subheading to see if that's better. I kind of like that better, so I'll keep it at subheading. If I wanted to emphasize the text, you have your basic text font features. If I highlight a certain section, I can bold it, I can italicize it, and of course, I can kind of make it centered or align it left if I wanted as well. I have the option to link certain text like I would in any type of document by clicking on an insert link button. It looks like a chain. So if I wanted that text to go somewhere else, I would just have to put a website and say I'm trying to promote this amazing site that you should probably check out if you have time out of this training. I can link that website right to whatever text I want. And it will appear as the underlined different color link for my people who are exploring the website. And if you're wanting to just start over and you don't like the look of what you have, you can highlight everything and just click that clear formatting, and it will clear any type of bolding or italicized words or sentences that you have. OK, so I've got my welcome message there for my students. I decide maybe I don't even like it. I have this big trash can. It deletes everything, and it's the same as most different applications that you use. The trash can just means get deleted or trash, and then once I do that, it's completely gone. And honestly, I've done this on accident where I've deleted things, and I wished I didn't. But Google Sites also works a lot like the docs and slides and sheets. You have the option to undo. So if you go to the top right, there's an undo action and then a redo action, or you can use a shortcut for undo and it will bring back whatever you did last. OK, any questions about the text options right now? Very simple, right? And does anyone feel overwhelmed right now at all? It's pretty easy, right? As far as a site builder, Google kind of considers all their other products and brings in those elements and they try to make it as easy as possible. So that is the text wheel. If you've noticed, anytime I hover over something on Google, there's this spot to the left. I have a few different options that I can kind of mess with here. Looks like 4 different ones. If you click on the little kind of paint pad, if you click on that, you actually get the option to set a background if you want. You have these few different ones that they give you and the option to upload the image in the background. These background section colorings that you get, when you click on them, that is actually an option for theme. So your websites actually all have themes that you can choose. Mine one is the default, but if I wanted to change the theme of the website so I get different design features, say I don't like the colors that they give me, I can go to the upper right-hand corner and there's a themes tab, and that controls the theme for the whole website and page. So if I click on that themes button, again, very limited design choices, but it focuses you a little bit on this as far as just walking you through for ease of design. So I have just this Aristotle design, or I can choose a few different colors or choose my own color if I want. Say I want a specific color that looks better than brown. I can change it all I want. That blue one will be fine, and I'll just stick with Aristotle. We had a quick question in the chat. So I see that Olivia says, well, what are the benefits of using Google Sites instead of other free building platforms such as Weebly? And Google Sites, the big benefit of Google Sites is really that it's super easy. You don't really need to know any HTML, and you don't for Weebly either, but it's even more It's even easier to use than Weebly, and it also connects to the drive. So you can insert things from the drive. You can insert videos very easily. Say you have a document you want your students to view and all your parents to view, like a welcome letter. You can stick it right on your teacher website. It'll be there for all time, and it's super easy to do. So I will show you with that in mind. I'll kind of show you with the next feature of the design wheel. So again, maybe I want a welcome letter right here in this blank spot. I'm going to double click. The design wheel comes up. And the next option I'm going to show you is the From Drive option for the design wheel. So I'll click on From Drive. And again, all I have to do is double click the area I want it to go into. And the From Drive comes up. It looks like the drive icon, but all gray. I'll click on that. And to the very right, you can see that my drive pulls up in a condensed kind of view. I have all the things I want to add as far as existing in my drive. I've got my pictures, I've got my PDFs, I've got my Google Docs, Google Slides, Sheets, Forms, whatever type of Google file you have, you can upload right into Google Drive, and it looks very nice, and you can kind of change it a little bit. Okay, we're going to pretend like this Believe the Hype document is my welcome letter, and I'm just going to click on it, and once it's highlighted, I have an option at the bottom. It says one selected, and then I can click Insert. So I'll click Insert right now, and now my welcome letter is here for any parents to see, and it's on my front page. And I have the option to kind of make it a little bit bigger so that it's a little bit nicer to see. So say I wanted the whole document to be viewed in a nice document size window, I can kind of drag it down, and it gives me a little preview of what size it might be. Any questions about that so far, about just adding things from the drive? Okay. One important thing while you're designing your website to keep in mind is maybe you're interested to see what it's actually going to look like. We're in this kind of creator view right now where you have a lot of different back-end options for design. What's great about Google Sites is you can very easily see what the site looks like by going to the upper right-hand corner. There's kind of a little computer-looking thing. It's actually the preview button. So if you click on the preview button, it's going to show you what the site would look like. So far, this is what my site would look like on an actual computer screen. Pretty good, right? For like 2 or 5 or 10 minutes. And super easy. I think anyone, after kind of just playing around with it and getting hang of the creation wheel, the design wheel, you can make something like this, and it looks pretty good. I bet a lot of parents and students would probably be impressed with even just something like this. At the very bottom, you have a few different options to view what your site would look like. If you click on the middle button, that's actually how it would look on a tablet. So thinking about your tablets, any iPad users or anything like that, this is what it would look like. It tries to scale it the best it can. So, and then the bottom to the very left in this preview kind of screen, if you click on that, this is what it would look like on a phone. So it gives you that option of what your designs would be if you were to go through those different platforms. And then this kind of helps you decide what to do. I actually like the look of this, so I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to exit this preview by clicking this button to the bottom right. Okay, so we have the From Drive option in our design wheel. And now I'm going to double click again, and I want something maybe underneath this. So I'm going to double click the design wheel, and I have a few other options. I've got the option to add images here to up here, and then to the right, I've got the option to upload. So I can upload something from my computer, and then to the very left, I have the option to embed. Okay, so I'm going to go with image first. I'm going to click on image up at the top, and it's just a little kind of a red square with, it looks like some mountains in the middle. So I'll click on that button, and I have the option to paste image from a URL. So that means a Google search, or I can do a Google search simply in this box. So maybe I'll do a search for myself and see what comes up. Okay, so you can see that regularly you can Google search yourself, right? Here, this is actually in a filtered search where it's a little more safe for education, and a lot of the things coming up are for historical figures. I don't know anything about the historical Mr. Bowie, but maybe I'll just do something where we'll search for something a little bit more populated, maybe dogs. Yeah, so that's a little more populated. So I will click on maybe this adorable puppy right here, and then I can insert from there. And then what's great with Google Sites is you can drag your items most places, wherever you want, and Google kind of snaps it to where it thinks it'll look best. So I can drag it here, and it'll kind of snap it to where it looks best, and it might change the size. So I actually want this to be at the top. Maybe that's the image I want to be at the top. When I look at the left, there is this kind of a lot of little different dots. If I scroll my mouse over it, I've got this compass icon. And with that, I can move my items up to anywhere I want, really. So I'm going to move it up to the top. And then I'm going to leave this image right in the middle. If I wanted to make it bigger, I can just select the image by clicking on it and then kind of clicking on the corner and dragging it like I would most things. You're probably used to dragging windows and different other things, but I'll kind of resize it that way. So that's how you add an image from Google or Google search. If you click on the image, there are even more options if you want. If I wanted to crop the image, meaning changing the size, I have that option. If I wanted to uncrop the image, say I crop the image and I don't like the way I cropped it, I can click on uncrop right here and it'll change it back. So yeah, it gives you a design feature, makes it very easy for you to do whatever you want with the site. Say this image, I actually wanted it to go to a different spot. Like every time someone clicks on it, I want them to go to a certain spot. I can click insert link, put any type of link I want. Say I wanted to go to my EdTech site, or for some reason that dog will go to my EdTech site. I can link it there, and every time people click on that image, it'll go right to the site that I want it to go to. And again, maybe this dog, since it has nothing to do with my class, I don't really want. So I can delete it. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to click delete. But now I have to start over. I've got to double click and click on image again and start over and drag it up at the top. There's an easier way to replace images if I have it where I want it. So I'm going to click undo and click on this image again. I really just want to replace it with a more appropriate image. I go to these three dots right at the top, and it gives me a lot of different options. To meet ADA, of course, I've got to have to add an alt text. If this site is going to the masses and whatnot, I can add a caption if I want, and of course, I can replace the image. So if I click on replace image, I can upload my own or select an image. So I'm going to click upload and find an image that is a little more appropriate to put in there that represents my class. Oh, there's a picture of me. I'm going to upload a picture of me, and it's going to replace it right there. I look kind of weird, so I'm going to crop it. So I'll click crop, and then there we go. I get to kind of size the image the way I want. And of course, it did not do that because I didn't push the check. There we go. This is a full representation of my site. I've got a beautiful welcome message up at the top, a banner that draws them in right away. We're going to talk about technology and have some coffee, and there's a notebook there. And then, of course, my welcome letter to the parents are right there. And this is an example of a home page almost that I built in we've been here 20 minutes, so less than 20 minutes, right? So if you wanted to build your own website, you have a very good start in 20 minutes. Okay, any questions so far about the things we've gone over? Okay, now you'll notice to the very right, there's options, the same options as the design wheel. So if I click on the design wheel, I've got a few different options. I had the text option, the image option, upload something from my computer option, click upload something from my drive, and then the embed option. We'll talk about the embed option in a little bit, but I just want you to take note that to the very right, kind of at the beginning of this training, I talked about Google Sites giving you multiple ways to do things so that you can choose which way you prefer. I like the design wheel just because it tricks my mind to thinking I can put it wherever I want. But here where it says text, images, embed, and drive, you can also click on these to add things. So if I want to add text, I can click on that text box and it will go where you last clicked. And then you have the option to add the text. Please email me at, or if you have questions. And you'll notice that since I typed in an email, it automatically guessed that it was an email and underlined it with a link in there that will email me if they click on it. So Google Sites is smart in the sense that it tries to do shortcuts for you. And again, I'm going to move that to the top, right underneath my name, because I feel like it belongs there. And I'm going to center it so it looks good. All right, so that's the design box, kind of like the design wheel. That you have the same options as the design wheel. All right, any questions about that? The second way to kind of add things. Okay, perfect. Now, as you go through on the right, you can see that you have a lot of other design choices, and I'm going to save those for when we add a new page. And you know, on websites, you can go to a lot of different pages. Our website, the EdTech website here, which is edtech.jcic.org. Wonderful website. It's got a lot of amazing resources. It looks good and whatnot. But you can see that they've got pages right up here. You can go to different things like distance learning, where you'll find a lot of amazing resources like webinars and trainings from yours truly and Kelly and CJ. Just a shameless plug, sorry. But if you go to your website or our website that we've been building, to add that, you use the Pages tab up at the top. So if you click on the Pages tab, you can see that all I have is my home page right now. And that's kind of Google's first page that they give you. But now, since I'm in the Pages tab, I can start adding more pages. So at the bottom, there's this plus button. I've got pages that I can add, and I have two different options if I go down to that plus option. I've got a new page, which will be existing in the website I'm creating right now, or I have a new link. That new link goes to different websites. Say you want a page for your district's website. You can click on this new link and put, maybe we'll put JCISD. And that will open up to JCISD. Of course, I've got to put the name in the right spot. But then where it says link, I can link to that site. So if I wanted my parents to have access to not only my site, but maybe my district's website, it might be a good idea to put that on your personal website. And then all I have to do is put the link right in this new link spot and click done. And I have the option to make it open in a new tab. And then I'll click done. And I see right now JCIC is under my pages option. And if you notice, I don't know if you notice, up at the top left or top right, JCISD appears now as an option for them to click on. So if I wanted to see what that looked like on a website, I can click on that preview button again. And I can see right at the top, I have the option to go to JCISD. And then it gives parents that official website that they could refer to all the time. That is a great look for them. That's a great spot for them to kind of find different pages to go to that you want them to go to, because it's right at the top. It's one of the first things they see. But if you don't prefer that, Google gives you a different option to put it somewhere else. All you have to do is kind of hover over all your pages, all your tabs, and then go to the very right. There's a small gear next to the website name. If you click on that, you can change the navigation, and you have a lot of different other options as well. So I'm just going to change the navigation, which is all my pages and whatnot, and then I'm going to change it to the side. And now it's gone from the top. They actually have to click the side to go to different websites, different pages on your website. I think if you like that option better because you want it out of the way, you can have it like that. I honestly like it at the top just so they can see it right away, and they know exactly the different pages that they have available to them. Any questions about this so far? Excellent. If at any time you have a specific question you think the group might benefit from it, feel free to unmute yourself and kind of ask. Kelly is in our chat, and she can answer questions as well. So feel free to ask questions in the chat. All right. Oh, someone unmuted their mic. Is there a question?
Well, maybe. Can you hear me, Do?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so if you were to add one more page at the top there, your text is white. It's going to push it over into that white plate. Can you change the color?
Yes. So the color of the actual text up top is really dependent on the theme that you've chosen. I can also change it by going to that gear and clicking on it to black if I wanted. And then it's not changing the actual font in the back. It's changing the banner, the very top banner, so it's easier to see. Good question, Angela. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thanks.
Okay. So again, good catch. Now, because of my great artsy design banner of a coffee cup and a laptop, it ran as the same color as the font and whatnot. So I changed what was in the background so people could more easily see it. And again, you would go to that gear, and then where it says color, you have the option again of transparent, white, or black. I'm going to keep it black because it is viewed a little bit easier. Okay, good question. All right, so now I'm going to actually add a page within Google Sites. So if I added a page within Google Sites, all I would have to do is go to the bottom right here. And again, I have two options. I either have a new link or a new page. If I click on the new page, it gives me the option of a name. Maybe I'll say learning resources. And that's a page I want to add. I'll kind of keep just very simple. Don't worry about the advanced options right now. I'm just going to click done, and it's going to create the page for me. You can see that was very quick, and there's a new icon there. It's a page icon instead of a home or a link icon. This is just a standard page that exists within your website now. You can see that it appears up at the top as a new link that they can click on. If they were looking at your website. If you wanted to change the order, say you actually liked the official link for your school first, all you do is click on the link to it and drag it up in order, and it'll change the order automatically up at the top. And again, to change the order of your pages that they appear at the top, you just have to click on it and drag it on the very right. Okay, now we have this new page here where it says learning resources, and now I'm going to start putting some other things that my design wheel had. So I'll double click again right at the top. So I'll double click again, and before we've covered everything besides the embed feature and the upload feature. So if I click on the embed feature, I've got the option to put a certain link or an embed code. Sometimes you have websites that give you an embed code. Google kind of has very limited HTML, meaning website design language. So any site that gives you an embed code, you can use and put here, and it'll put it right into your website like it would appear on wherever you got it. This is by URL. So maybe I'll just search for a YouTube video. I'll go to YouTube real quick. And let's say we'll search for a welcome. We'll just use this nice waterfall video, and it's a very calming video. Just pretend it has something to do with my website. I'm gonna copy this YouTube link, and then I'm going to paste it right here. And it actually sensed that it was a YouTube video, so it changed it to a nice kind of view, and I'm going to insert. It should generate for me. It might take a little bit depending on your internet. But again, I can go to insert, and I can also click on that embed option and do it that way as well. And there we go. So I've got this nice little YouTube video now, and I use the embed feature. So it's going to try its best to embed whatever link you put right in here. let's try a website to see what that looks like. Maybe I just want to embed a website in here and see if that would work. So I would double click here and use the embed feature again. And it's going to give me a preview of the website that I'm trying to put in here. And we'll see what it looks like. So Google sensed that a whole website wouldn't fit in Google Sites, so it kind of just made it a link instead. So it's a link to that website. So using the embed feature works well sometimes if the website allows you or the resource allows you to embed it, or if Google consents that it's an embeddable resource. Like videos are really easy in the embed, but websites aren't as much. It depends on what you want to put in there. There are a lot of things with embed codes where it'll try to size it correctly and whatnot, and you can insert it that way. So anything with an embed code from a website, you can insert. So let's just see what this looks like right now. All right, so I've got my YouTube video, waterfalls. You can't hear the music right now, but it's amazing. And then you have this website that I just embedded, try to make it a nice little button, but when I click on it, it'll go right to the website. So you have that option of embed and whatnot. You can use it if you want. It could end up working really well, or it could just end up as a weird little button. So keep in mind, when you use the embed button, if you have embed code, it does work better. Oh, yes.
Is there any way to make it automatically play when that page is loaded versus having to click on the video?
It's going to be a click option most of the time, but if that's what it defaults to, and when you click on the actual video, you can open it in a new tab, of course, and kind of view the source product, or you can click on settings. And here's where, again, it's very limited as far as what it allows you to do, but that adds the simplicity of Google Sites. So you can't actually make it automatically play. You only have these few different options right here.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, no problem. All right, any other questions like that? Okay, the last option on the design wheel is the upload option. So if I click on that upload option, it just takes me to my computer, and I can upload anything I want. I'm just going to upload this little banner, this banner image right here, and I'm going to resize it and try to make it look okay. But again, you have the option to upload from your computer by just using that little upload button. So you have specific items on your computer you want to put right in the website. It's going to store right in the website, and because you have unlimited storage with your Google accounts, you can upload pretty much unlimited things to the website. Any questions about that feature so far? Okay, I'm going to go into other design options that you have. Say this learning resource page, you want to make it look a little bit better. This is kind of jumbled. It's not really what I want it to look like. So I'm just going to get rid of a lot of things and try to make it look a little bit better. To the right, you have layout options that kind of help you design a better looking website. So you can kind of see a little preview of what it would look like. Say I just want maybe a video with some text on it or something like that, or right by it. I can click on this first layout, and it kind of guides me to put things in certain places. So here, I'll put welcome video or something like that. And then the text I'll put, please watch this video before you look at the resources on this page. Okay, and again, it's formatted. It looks a lot more organized than what I had before. What I had was a lot of jumbled different things in different order, but now it's laid out in a nice looking organized way. To the left, you'll notice there's a plus button. If you click on that plus button, you can add a lot of different things. You can upload things from your computer. You can select an image. You can upload things from your drive. So if you had videos or images or anything from your drive, you can put it right in there. If you had a video on YouTube, you can put it in there. So if I click on YouTube, I can actually search for videos here. And how to add fives. All right, how to add fives. It's in the educational filter, so all of it is filtered education-wise. So I can add any type of YouTube video I want. And of course, if you can't find the specific video that you want to upload from this view on YouTube, you can always do it by just searching for the link, and that's fine too. So I'm going to add a video and pretend that's a welcome video that I recorded for my students. And then I can preview what it looks like to see if it looks decent. And yeah, it looks a lot better than what I had before, which is a bunch of jumbled things. And from here, you can take advantage of other design choices for layouts as well. So I can maybe click on this one, and then I can start adding things. I can start adding things and just pretty much filling in the blank to what I prefer it to look like. And I'll just start adding webinar resources. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you can kind of get a sense of what it might look like in the context of what you want to do. As far as resources, homemade stand. You can kind of just imagine how you would set it up. But again, it walks you through very nicely what to do, and it walks you through in a nice way of it just shows you a lot of different things that you could potentially do based on what you want it to look like. The layouts are very nice and allow you to make a nice looking website very simply. So it walks you through adding things very easily. And you can present something to your parents where they'd be really impressed. You can create something for your students where they can access different resources on a website in a way that is easy to access. Say you don't necessarily want to use just Google Classroom. I have this option quite a bit where, or not option, this question, whether why would you want to use Google Sites versus Google Classroom? Well, Google Classroom is very controlled, very safe, and oftentimes students have to either be added in the Google Classroom or they have to use a code. And then parents, all they see is a summary of what students have done in the classroom. Google Sites is a good accompany to Google Classroom because it allows parents to see maybe what your students are working in class. It links them to important resources that they might want. Because parents can't exist in your Google Classroom, it's good to have this as a way to connect to them. And it's good to have this for students as far as like any type of student who wants and needs a little bit more as far as visuals and a good accompany piece to Google Classroom, especially when you consider parents and whatnot who would like a better view into the classroom of what they're learning. So this is a learning resources page. Maybe I can make another page that has to do with class updates, where I share some pictures, where I share some different activities that have been going on in class or anything like that. Maybe I put all the picture updates here, and then parents can kind of see what's going on in that class. Any questions about what we've discussed so far? Okay, real quick, just by showing me your hands on a scale of 1 to 5, how excited are you for Google Classroom or Google Sites so far? It's got to be 5, right? I'm gonna put 6. I'm very excited for Google Sites. 5. Thank you, Crystal. That was perfect. Okay, so this is Matt. Gonna give me some fingers here. How excited are you for? Looks like we'll say looks like 10. Looks like, I can't see your other hand, but I assume it's a 10. All right. So now we've gone over pretty much everything that you need to do to get started with Google Sites. And again, I can't tell you enough to take advantage of that preview button, and that will kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like if you're thinking about user friendliness for images and whatnot. Again, the insert at the bottom, you've got a lot more options than I showed you. You've got a table of contents you can insert. You have image carousel if you wanted to do a little slideshow type thing for your parents on the home page. That would work just fine. You've got the YouTube video option. You've got a calendar option. You can put in a map if you wanted and whatnot. And then all the different Google Docs type applications, slides, sheets, forms, charts, anything you want to add in there, you can. That's a Google item. And if it doesn't display right there, just click on your drive and Google will try its best to kind of make a version of that happen that looks good on your website. I've got a video right here that is not on YouTube that I actually just have on my drive, and I'll click on it to show you what that might look like. And again, this is a video from my drive. It looks great, right? This is actually a video from my 6th grade teaching years where students did a mockery of myself and another 6th grade teacher. But yeah, you can see that if I preview it, it plays right from my drive. So Google has a very nice way of kind of just making things work for you if you try it out. So if Google Sites can do it and it's on your drive, then most likely they can make it appear very well. Like this Google slide, for instance, if I click on it, the slide is now right on the website for my viewers to kind of view. So again, Google Sites works super well. I talked about the question earlier about why would you use this instead of Weebly or other free website builders, is because it's so easy to put things where you want them to go in Google if they're on your drive, if it's part of the Google app suite. And again, it looks, for the most part, very nice. And you have design options where it's very user-friendly. Now to change that, I just dragged it and resized it. So you can see that it didn't take me much time to get it to where I want it to look like. All right, any questions so far about that part? Okay, we have one more thing to go over, and that's kind of publishing and making sure your website is ready for students and parents to view. So if I go to the upper right-hand corner, I have a few different options that I didn't necessarily go over with you before. Of course, you have the share option like you do on any type of Google document. You can see that you can share it with specific people if you wanted. You can see that the publish view, it's not published yet. Everything in Google Sites is in draft mode until you publish it. It'll automatically save what work you're doing, but it won't make it official for people to see until you publish. Right here where it says draft, this is what it's in right now. I'm drafting my website, I'm creating it, and this is who can access this draft mode to edit your website. So say you have a 5th grade or 4th grade team website and you wanted multiple people to edit it and kind of build it with you. You have 2 different options. You can invite them at the very bottom by just typing in the name, say, I want to invite Kelly, and she's going to help me out with my website because, I can't get to it all the time. So I can officially send it to her if I want, and she'll have it, or I can change the draft mode where I can allow more people to edit it. So say I want people who are anyone with like a JCISD consortium email to edit and find it, they can. I can make it so anyone with this link can edit this website if they wanted. So you have those options as well, like you would any other Google Doc or file. I'm going to leave it on specific people right now because it's my website and I want to be the only one to edit it. So I'll save that. And then where it says published, this is where your website is viewed by people. You're able to choose and limit who can view your website. And again, this makes it a little more safe for your parents and students, specifically your students, of course. So if I change where it says public, I have only a few different options. I have specific people can view when published, and that way they have to actually be invited. I have anyone at JCIC can find and view the published version. So maybe you only want your students to view it, you don't want anyone else to view it, you can click on that option. And then students or anyone with a JCISD email can find it, and that's it. And this one is the last option. Anyone can find and view the published version, meaning anyone can find it. I specifically want parents to be able to find it, so I will leave that there and press save. And then that's all set and ready to go. I'm just going to cancel and click done. And now, anytime I push publish, any changes that I made in the draft mode will appear on my official website. I'm going to click on publish right now so you can see, and this will be for the world to experience. If I click on publish, I've got an option here this is what's going to appear at the very end of your website address. You can change it if you want. It tries to guess the most simple one possible. And so you can add a few different things on it. 2020. Maybe this is for specifically that year's students. You can change it to that, and that way it's a little easier to find. It's still not that easy to find, to be honest, but it's a little more easy. You can see, I don't know if you can see super well, but I'll try to zoom in. Is that a little bit better? But here, this is what your full email would be. Again, it would be pretty hard to find on its own anyways, because it's sites.google.com/jcic.org/Mr. Boo's website 2020. That's a mouthful. It's a lot for people to type in. So you have to just send this link to your parents in an email, and that's a lot easier for them to access, to be honest. And from here, you can also manage the website. Again, that link of who can see it. So if you change your mind, want students to be the only ones to see it, you can do that from here. Where it says search settings, this is also really great. You can request public search engines to not display my site. Honestly, your site it'd be really hard to Google search your site because of all this stuff right here. It makes it a little bit more difficult to find. But if you wanted to completely get rid of it and request Google and Yahoo and all the big search engines to not even display your website, you can click on that option, click published, and really the only way people will access your website then is by getting this link. So if they got that link, they can click on it and they can go to your website. It's really safe, really easy that way. And again, it protects you and your parents a little bit more, and your students, of course, if you do that. And I often recommend a lot of people do that if it's just a website for your students. And especially if you want to use, maybe you're thinking during this time that you want your students to use Google Sites. I honestly think Google Sites is an amazing tool, not just for parents, not just for teachers, but students as well. Students, if you think they can create almost a profile type or a portfolio type thing with Google Sites, they can kind of add in all the work they've done for the year, and then you can use this portfolio to show parents during parent-teacher conference, or to send it to parents saying, hey, look, this is what your students have done throughout the whole year. They have all their work on here. It's easy to build a portfolio on Google Sites because you can add everything from your drive. So all the projects that your students do from the drive, or any pictures you have of them, they can just upload right from the drive and show their parents, and they have a running record, a portfolio of what they've been working on. So it becomes a powerful tool not only for your class homepage, but a student portfolio. If you're thinking about just using this maybe as a side hustle, where you have a side business, you can create a nice, beautiful website that you can send to people, and they would be very impressed, I would think, of your website. Okay, any questions about what we just went over? That was a lot, and in 54 minutes time. So I saved the last 5 minutes or so for questions. This is kind of the basic starter kit for Google Sites, and I think you've got most of what you need to know to get started with it. And just keep in mind that publish setting, and make sure you have it set where you want it to be set for your parents and students and yourself. Questions? Yes, go ahead.
I like the idea of this to where you could put all the sites that you have for your parents, like Lexia, IXL, so it's all in one spot, so they could just click on your link and it would take them right there instead of having to search up every time where to go.
Yes, Chrissy, that was beautifully said. That is a very good statement. having a one-stop shop for your parents, that's one of the biggest pluses for Google Sites, especially if you're building a classroom site. Good, very good point. How can, okay, so Matt's got a question real quick. Okay, so how can you see how much the site is being accessed? Hits. Okay, so Google Sites, again, Google is a company that listens to their clientele as much as possible. So if you submit a feature, they often try to add it. So this is a newer-ish feature. If you go to that little settings cog, you have, of course, things I didn't go over, but you'd have simple analytics. You could connect your Google Sites to a Google Analytics account to get insights and metric use, but that is a little bit more of a paid feature. So I don't have that. So I guess the answer is if you had that, you could. Yeah, so I don't have a Google Analytics account. And yeah, so sorry, Matt, you can do that. I just don't have it and don't have access to it. And I can look it up further for you, but I think that's an extra paid version, which we don't have access to in the G Suite for Education accounts. Any other questions? That was a really good question. It definitely would be helpful to see who accesses your site so that you can say, oh, your parents have accessed it, but yeah. Yeah, and if everyone here, the 13, 14, 15 people at once, bombard Google with emails every year to try to make them include analytics for free, maybe it'll work. Maybe, just maybe. Okay, I'll be here for another few minutes. So if you wanted to answer that, do the evaluation right now, I'll link it one more time so that you can do the evaluation, and I'll send a follow-up email with the recording for this session out, so you can watch it over again, you can treasure it, you can relive all the fun moments that we had together. But during this time, please just do the exit evaluation. It's just a few short questions. It'll help us track attendance and our analytics for who's coming to these webinars. And then, of course, you can give feedback and kind of suggest what you'd like to learn in the future. So please do that short eval and have a nice day. Again, I'll stick around and answer any questions you have. I can only stick around for 2 more minutes because I'm hopping on another webinar at 10:05. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording. People don't need to see this part.